Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Danielle and I'm from Cageless Readings. So as there is a full moon coming soon, I figured we'd be looking at what cycles are you moving through, like what is coming for this next month ahead. If you're not seeing this at the time it releases, don't worry about that, because the beautiful thing about energy cycles is that you'll just find this reading whenever you're going through that phase. So it doesn't actually have to be on the exact same full moon. That's the beauty. So yeah, the first thing we're gonna be looking at is like, what change are you moving through or working through? Then we're going to be looking at the guidance and suggestions from your guides on how to support these changes so that you can move through this time with the most ease. And we're also going to be looking at just like a little checkup on your relationships. So this could be your relationship to self and how you've been treating yourself. It can be your relationships in general, like your connections. So your connections to your coworkers and how they're flowing and moving, and your relationship harmony with your possible romantic other, or even if you're just working on on yourself so that you can bring in a romantic partner. I'm just going to look at whatever guidance comes through, but it doesn't always have to be romantic. Our connections do affect everything in our life, even our connections to ourselves. And I should just say in this intro here, attachment styles have been coming out like crazy this month for themes. So I would imagine that will come out in at least one of these piles, how we are attaching or connecting to ourselves and therefore to others, because they're all one and the same. Okay, so anyways, that being said, that's what we have coming forward in this reading. I do have the energy theme. So the first card, the card that you're going to choose by, is what you're moving through. So I'm going to tell you what each crystal is. So that way, if you don't want to pick based off of the theme, because I know some people are like paranoid, they just chose that pile because they want that thing, not because it's happening. I'm going to give you the option to only choose by the crystals, and then I'll pause and then let you choose by the card if you're into that. So we always want to get grounded with ourselves, get connect to your intuition. So take a few deep breaths, relax and calm down that nervous system, really get grounded in your body, connected with your higher self. And we're always going to be reading for your highest potential here on this channel. It's not that we ignore the shadows, but we don't want to read your fears, because that's just trying to manifest in your worst nightmares. We want to manifest in the things of love, the things of beauty that you're actually aspiring towards. So yeah, that's just what I like to do. If it's not your vibe, you don't have to watch this reading. Okay, that being said, pile 1, you have this piece of Howlite as your option. It's a calming stone. Some of you are like, what does Howlite do again? It's calming. Calming, I kind of see it as nurturing, nervous system calming. Okay. Oh my gosh. Every time I do this, and I'm like, why didn't I double check the name? Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, this one starts with an S. Oh my gosh. Maybe I should. Okay, I'll look it up. This is sad. I can't believe I forgot the name of it every time. Okay. Funny enough, I was gonna say Dragonstone, but I was like, that's not right. It's not what it's called. It starts with an S. And the irony is I'm just using dragon cards, but it's actually called Septarian, but it is nicknamed the Dragonstone. So that's pile 2. Okay, and then pile 3 is this piece of Angel Aura Quartz. So it has like that rainbow shimmer in it. It's the aura in it. Okay, and now that being said, if you want to choose off of the card underneath, I will give you that option now. And this is what you're changing or shifting through. So if you don't want to see this, pause the video. Okay, warning has been done. So pile 1, your card we have is Pure White Dragon from Orion. And what you'll be moving through is processing what you know, acting with truth and honesty, and letting your wings of light grow and expand. So it says, transform your ascension knowledge into pure wisdom. That's pile 1. process what you know, act with truth and honesty. Okay, pile 2, we have Fire Dragon. You are safe and protected, determined and inspired, clear your soul pathway. So I would say is you're working through clearing your soul pathway, knowing you're safe and protected, being more grounded in yourself, and growing your confidence as well. So it says brings up the lower energies around you, burns up the lower energies around you. That's pile 2. And pile 3, what you're going to be moving through, we have Air and Fire Dragon expands your creative energies, harness your creativity, excitement, enthusiasm, communicating your passions. So that's pile 3. Moving into more joy, passion, creation, and enthusiasm, apparently. So, okay, I'll let you have a moment here, and I will see you in your piles if you were drawn to one of them. If you were not, don't sweat it. There's so many good card readings on YouTube. There will be one out there with a message for you. See you soon. Hello, pile 1. So you either chose the Howlite crystal or the pure white dragon from Orion, and it says, process what you know, act with the truth and honesty, let your wings of light grow and expand. You know what? Just because this is a theme for what you're moving through or what's kind of going to be the energies of the next lunar cycle for you or 30 days for you, I am going to read it in the guidebook because sometimes they just have a really great way of communicating what this card means. So that being said, this card, it says, Orion is the planet of wisdom, the ability to take the knowledge we obtain through our left brain and use it joyfully for the highest good of all. Beings from many star systems take their understanding to Orion to ask how to use it with wisdom. Ooh, so I already love this. This already feels really like it's talking about taking that mental knowledge of what you know and really starting to embody it and feeling that wisdom within. I'm sure we've all had those experiences where we can read something and kind of know the idea of it, but then one day, it just hits you and you like full body understand it. Like you really just get it and you're like, wow, I obviously did not understand this until right now. Kind of feel like that, like all that work of learning things finally being embodied. So it also says the beings from Orion, including the 7th dimensional pure white dragons, carry a special light in their soul. The color white indicates purity, clarity, and advanced enlightenment. Archangel Gabriel, the unicorns, and the Great White Brotherhood all hold this incredible level of purity. Source light is a diamond white. As white holds the vibration of truth, when the pure white dragons from Orion shower it onto us, it lights up our impeccable honor and brilliance. They are preparing us for greater advancement on our ascension path. Okay, so there is a little suggestion on guidance. It says, this card comes up for you today to advise you to examine what you know with enlightened eyes. Process the information you are working with through your right brain to discover how to use it for the highest good. The high-frequency dragon from Orion will be with you to help you with this process. They will allow you to advance your spiritual growth and expand your wings of light. Yeah, I just really feel like this is like embodying all the practices and all the learnt wisdom. I would say learnt wisdom and really, really feeling it and seeing it in your life. So the other thing I want to say too with this card is when I see this, and I also felt like the Howlite crystal actually went really well with it. So I chose the crystals and then I pulled the cards. So I just kind of like that. The color just goes so well with it. You feel like this is just talking about clarity and clearing clearing in general in your life. So whenever you see lots of white, it usually means like areas of your life, the heaviness is being lifted, and sometimes it can be healing through things, but I feel like this is clearing. So I just feel like there's going to be a lot of things you see with a different perspective or have a different understanding or take on them. So this is really exciting for what's coming ahead. transforms your sentient knowledge to pure wisdom. Yeah. Oh, I feel like I just keep getting all those sort of English expressions around practicing what you preach, embodying your practice. Like it's not because you haven't put effort into this, it just something's going to click. This is the month where things click and you actually start to really have like revelations, because you all the stuff you've read about or you've been working on in theory is now coming into um the physical knowledge and wisdom. I don't know if I'm quite explaining that right, but I just always feel like when my body knows something, I really know it. When my mind knows something, it understands a theory. Maybe that's like a better way to put it. So the next thing we're going to be looking at is just guidance and suggestions on how to support this change so that it can happen just in the smoothest, easiest way for you during this transition. Because this is like, I'm just talking about this quickly here, but this is a big deal, right? This is a big deal. This is like something you've been working towards for a while. And when I like the Howlite stone coming through with it, like the thing that I was saying Howlite stands for me is calm, relaxing the mind, and just feeling more at peace. So I just feel like from these two things, this pile is probably just had a bit of a kicker of a month before this. Like a kick in the butt, we'll say. You might feel like you just constantly couldn't quite get things that you were trying to get. Like maybe even mental states, like maybe you were having lots of highs and lows and it's not quite feeling stuck energy, but I feel like this feels like being stuck in patterns and being quite frustrated about it. And also, like I was saying, nervous system, attachment styles, been coming up a lot this past month, which usually means it's going to really come up in this following month. I feel like that's how it usually works. I start to see something and then I'll see it for a whole nother 4 or 6 weeks after I start to see it. So that being said, I think this is really talking about calming down the nervous system and like embodying these sort of techniques you might have learned on how to calm down your mind, or maybe even the parts of yourself that are feeling worried. So you might be looking a lot into internal family systems, or you might have looked into a lot of information about internal family systems and working with different parts of self, giving maybe them different jobs, honoring them so that they feel heard and seen and aren't behaving like a child who has been ignored or neglected by their parent. And do remember, you are the parent. Yeah. Anyways, I'm not really sure where I was going with all that. So let's just pull some guidance and suggestion cards for you on how to best go through this energy or this transition time with the most ease. Okay. All in love and light for the highest good for pile 1. Okay. Cut your cords. That's great. Listen to your intuitive feelings. Didn't quite want that one. Okay. How can I best move through this? Third eye. And workshops and seminars. Okay. Well, interesting. I like workshops and seminars coming through for you because I feel like you've already been taking some, or maybe you've been like researching topics before you're about to take like a little workshop or a course, or it could even be a degree. It could even be bigger than just like a week course or something like that, or a workshop that's only like a few days. But I do like all this blue. So there's definitely a big thing around communication. And I'm not sure if this is communication with yourself or just in general. Hang on. As I was saying that, I do think it's both. I think the internal family systems thing might really resonate with this pile, because I do feel like you're changing how you talk to yourself and the different parts of yourself. And I do want to talk about the attachment style a little bit, because and you might have heard me say this in my last card reading. I can't remember if it was the last one or a few ago, but how like our attachment styles do apply to how we talk to ourselves. So like if there's parts of you that you're avoiding because it's like stressful or you don't like know how to handle that energy and it feels overwhelming. It's not always just with our like romantic partners or like how we were parented. It's like how we are parenting ourselves or taking care of ourselves. So I do feel like you have that in your awareness, especially if this is like, I feel like you've been researching, learning a lot, and now you're going to be applying this. So this is all just coming through, I feel like, as just like confirmations of being on the right path. So third eye chakra, this I feel like it's coming up for like changing how you've seen things of the past. So I want to say there might be a lot of like life review moments. So like there may be I don't know if it's just like in your own spare time that you'll be reflecting, or if you do take like, if you're taking like some sort of meditational retreat, or what kind of workshop you're taking. But I do feel like there will be a time where you're like seeing and really embodying this understanding about how you have, I want to say avoided for this pile, how you may have avoided looking at, honoring, or addressing a certain conflict within a part of yourself. And I feel like you're going to get clarity on why you've had patterns in the past or where this has affected you in the past. Because it is talking about how there will be clarity on past events. I don't know what that event is exactly, but I like when I see these moths, I keep seeing that. Like it could even be like, maybe you see how you have avoided this aspect of yourself, similar to how your mom avoided that aspect of you when you asked questions, or your dad avoided those questions when you brought them up. So I feel like it's going to be a little bit of like clarity around where this even came from, and I feel like it is like childhood related. Of course, doesn't it always start in childhood when we picked up all these patterns and learned behaviors? But I do just feel like, yeah, definitely something there. And the mediumship card, when I'm thinking about this, this actually could just be coming out about communication. I mean, you take it as a confirmation as you feel fit. If you are someone who has been looking into mediumship, and that might even be what the workshop's about, take that as it resonates. But mediumship is communication. It's just like communication with other people's higher selves, which is interesting. Or sometimes it could be like some people do mediumship just with like the person as they were in that life's ego and all. So I do find this interesting. I feel like there's such a theme around communication for this next cycle for you, but it is changing. You want to be clear here. It's like, it feels like upgrades, so much clarity, so much enlightenment, and so much understanding on how you've been communicating with others. And I almost feel like there's a bit of a thing around like seeing how like things that maybe have been taken personally in the past never should have been taken personally. And I can almost see you like talking to people and being like, oh, old me would have thought they were saying this about me. But I actually see that this is a reflection of what they're struggling with within themselves. If that makes any sense. I'm trying to think of an example here. So you know how sometimes you can be talking to someone and you think you're thinking of the same point, and then they'll answer a question and they've come to a totally different conclusion than you, and you're like, what? It's not at all what I was saying, but it turns out this is something they've been thinking about a lot on their minds. So they just assumed you meant what they'd been thinking about a lot on their mind. And I don't know. I just feel like stuff like that is happening. So you might also have read the book recently, The Four Agreements, or you might just have looked into the modality of the practice, because this is also what I'm getting. Like, this is actually a lot. Like, I can see why I feel like you might have like obtained a lot of knowledge and done a lot of reading the last couple of months, because I feel like there's a learning, like remembering and reteaching yourself about attachment styles, the avoidant, the anxious, was the other one, disorganized, there we go, and then secure. But then I also feel like there is like this internal family systems where you're starting to look at understanding different parts of self, how to honor them, all in mental theory. I don't think this was physically done yet. And then there's also sort of like this Four Agreement vibe where it doesn't matter if you haven't read it. I just feel like you've learned or read something about not taking things personally, understanding projection, and how people mirror things in each other and how everyone is always just living their own perspective and reality kind of centered around them. And if we take things personally, usually we're just not picking up on the right things. So that's a lot of stuff to like learn all that and really embody it is a lot. And I think that is what you're going to be going through. So when I see heal away addictions, this could refer to maybe I want to be careful here. Let me just double check. Past life when you get nervous. Okay. Yes. Okay. Sorry. I guess I can show you these. I just was like confirmations on what this heal away addictions is in relationships, and I have past life issues, powers, what I'm getting from this, getting nervous, throat chakra, and ear chakra. So not hearing things clearly, in communication, and getting anxious, feeling disempowered in the situation, and it being past cycles. So I'm going to say that I feel like if you catch yourself going to the old pattern of maybe being anxious, so it could look like chasing energy, anxious attachment style, or chasing energy, whichever one kind of resonates with you. So say you meet some new people and they pull back, but you feel really excited about them. So you go to like push in or chase after them. I think you're going to have clarity around that. And when I see little turtle, he's all about protection. So I feel like there's going to be an aspect of you that really starts to learn how to set boundaries in your connections. And if you're like, Danielle, how does boundaries have anything to do with my anxious attachment style? It's like setting boundaries with yourself about how you want people to show up. And if they don't show up, you don't worry about them not being in your life anymore. You go, oh, this person is not for me. They're not emotionally available. They're emotionally avoidant. And I want someone who shows up secure and who prioritizes this relationship. So this is in any relationship. It can be friendships. It can be coworkers, bosses. It can be romantic partners, people you're just dating. It's just talking about setting standards and boundaries with yourself, because it kind of comes from a scarcity mindset, right? Like when we're anxious and we feel someone's pulling away, it's like this scarcity mindset that if we lose them, there won't be anything else. So we have to get after them. So, like I said, like I feel like this is quite a few things that you're really like working through and processing and embodying. So there will be like moments where you're like, shoot, okay, I kind of fell a little bit into that past pattern, but I caught myself. And that's what matters, okay? You need to keep remembering that you're catching yourself before you go far down that path. So I do like the turtle. If you see turtles a lot the next month, take that as a confirmation that you're safe and that you don't need to hang on to scarcity mindset. The world is prosperous and there's something better if they won't show up. So this is like, the turtle means your standards for yourself and a reminder and what you want. You also think sea turtles are so cute and they look so happy. And it's almost like, to me, when I would see that, I would think, that's what I want. Happiness, chillness, like thinking Finding Nemo. Like the turtles are so chill. Like if you aren't chill and you're getting all worried and anxious in these relationships, they probably aren't great for you, because nothing that you're doing wrong. They're emotionally avoidant and emotionally unavailable. So they are not right for you. You want people who can match your chill, at peace with themselves, slowing down, not running away, just being more present. So I feel like that's the pattern you're breaking. Definitely want to say I see you breaking it. So don't get too hard on yourself. And I also like that ear chakras and throat chakras and the nervous thing comes up. It's almost like I think you in the past have taken as a reflection of what you aren't doing, like someone is avoiding you or pulling away because you've done something wrong, but it's to realize that there is no communication error on your part. If anything, you communicated something directly, or you just wanted answers to something this person couldn't give you, so they run away. It has nothing to do with your communication style. It is the person's thing. It is a person issue, not your issue. So understanding I don't know, you might be really hard on yourself in this pile. Maybe you've always been like, I'm a bad communicator, or I don't communicate well enough, or I say things the wrong way and people get uncomfortable. This has nothing to do with you. This is other people. The only thing you can control is setting those standards and boundaries with yourself to not chase. Do not chase. They are not going to, if they're not meant to be in your life because they are not able to emotionally meet you where you're at, then they are not worth your time. And someone who can value you and be consistent will and stable. So cut your cords. I think this is really important because if you're someone who's very empathic and these people are emotionally avoidant, the problem is if you don't chase them, then they're all of a sudden going to be in the anxious attachment. So, I mean, that's not always the case, but when I see this card, I keep thinking of like more disorganized attachment styles. So like when you give attention and you're consistent and stable, they become avoidant. And then you disengage because you're like, all right, I'm not going to play this chasing game. So then I feel like you kind of could get breadcrumbed, which is just when someone comes back hard and they want that attention from you again, and then they get it and they're bored with it because they're chasing the highs and lows of connection still. They don't understand how good a stable, consistent relationship feels. So if that is the kind of personality that you're dealing with, cutting your cords would be very important because that would make sure that when they're going through their chaotic energy, that it's not affecting you. You stay emotionally regulated and calm and good because you're not basically getting pulled in by what's going on emotionally with them. So it'd be like them all of a sudden thinking about you all the time and you're like, why am I thinking about this person? I thought I was at peace with it. So just if you have that and you're feeling frustrated with why you keep thinking about this person, cut your cords because I think it could just be them telepathically or energetically thinking about you and putting that energy from their way towards you. And it's up to you to be like, you know what? I'm good. I don't want to follow in this cycle. I'm good. So cutting your cords. If you haven't seen some of my older videos, I love doing the Ho'oponopono method. It's just that idea of sending a blessing and a healing and a releasement to the connection. So the theory is if we're all connected and we're all one, then whatever I say to myself or on behalf of someone else goes both ways because we're all just one person anyways. So it's I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And then I like to say, I release you, you release me. And when I say I release you, you release me, I always think of it as I release any weird energies or expectations we have of each other. Because that's usually all it is, right? Like we get stuck or fixated on someone owing us something or an expectation that someone be a certain way and then they're not, and then they can hold a bitterness or resentment. So I just say, I release you, you release me. And I just hope they have a great life. And they could still be in your life. So I should say that it's actually really important to do this kind of cord cutting with the people we see every day because all those small things can eventually get to us and create friction. So doing it with your parents is great. Doing it with your kids is great because it doesn't mean you're cutting them out of your life. You're just trying to release and heal those weird frictions that aren't awesome, right? It's just like dust. Dust forms everywhere over time. Doesn't matter how clean you are, dust will happen. And same with our connections, dust will happen. So I just like to Ho'oponopono to clear those dust particles, essentially. You can even do it with just yourself. If you're having issues with parts of yourself and accepting them, you can do I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, God bless you, thank you, I release you, you release me. Anyways, you are a powerful light worker. It is safe for you to be powerful. That is the main thing I'm getting from this card. It is safe for you to be empowered. It's safe for you to say what you want, to put what you want out there, and to not make yourself smaller in these sort of weird connections that make you feel like you're asking too much or being too much. Yeah, so this, like, being a powerful light worker is understanding scarcity doesn't exist and that everything is happening for you, that you are just here to be a light and to enjoy life and to spread love, to be like a symbol of love, and that scarcity just has no role in that. So this can be tricky. This can be tricky because I feel like this is where like there's often a part of us that like can feel disempowered or feel like there isn't enough, because that's just like how society runs. So this is just every time you go there, it's saying, remember that you are empowered, that you are loved, that you know love, that the universe loves you, and that you are safe and protected. And you're just meant here to radiate all of who you are and to bring more light and love to this world. That's all you're meant to do, is just be you and not make yourself smaller so that these other people who can't handle love they won't need to be in your life. You just want people who show up and are consistent. So I think that's even it. I feel like some people, because the more like fully yourself you've been or loving you've been, like they are avoidant. They're kind of scared of that. I think they've ran away from it. And you've taken that on as like you were too much, or you said the wrong things, or if people see that side of you, they can't handle it. It's like I said at the start, it's nothing to do with you. It's all about them. Anyways, I feel like I've been rambling a lot in this pile, so sorry about that. Listen to your intuitive feelings. Your body is receiving accurate messages from the divine. So I really do feel like there is a lot about really learning how to communicate with yourself, understanding all parts of yourself, and trusting them. So if these people are making you feel like anxious or nervous, or you're starting to feel not good enough, instead of like maybe playing it, like listening to that side of you, like, how do I put it? Ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? Am I taking things personally? Like, or am I picking up on an old wounding because this person is not showing up in the way I want? Like, really just kind of getting to the root of what is your body trying to tell you when these emotions are coming up? And what can you do, as this like little turtle reminds you, to set boundaries and standards with your relationships in your life so that you do not find yourself feeling this way? Yeah. Okay, I feel like this is kind of a lot of information I've been saying. So hopefully this is not overwhelming for this pile. But I do feel like, to sum up everything I've been saying, there's just a lot of changes in your communication style with yourself and setting boundaries and standards with others. Your communication is going to just really explode, because I think you're going to realize that it wasn't that you were ever saying anything wrong. You were just coming from a heart-centered place. And then when you're talking to other people who have closed off hearts, that scared them and they ran away. It had nothing to do with you or saying the wrong thing. It was just them not able to, there's them being avoidant and not being able to want to open up their hearts or meet you in a heart-centered place. So really had nothing to do with you. It was them not being ready for that level of heart-centeredness. Okay, that level of love, that level of clarity, that level of honesty, authenticity, however you want to see it. They just weren't ready for it. Okay, so we are also now just going to look at a little check-in for your relationships, though I do feel like this was a lot about relationships. I'm just going to pull, maybe I'll put those back in. I'm just going to pull what is coming up for pile 1. 11 lines are highs good in their relationships, in their connections, this next lunar cycle. So what is coming forward? Okay, so we have camera. We also have photograph, which is interesting. So reminiscing, perception, learn from the past, make memories. We also have deep hurt, sad, separation, breakup, grieving, mourning. And looking at the photos, missing you, nostalgia, make new memories, and take a chance, risk, being strategic, options, not showing hand, gambling. Okay, so what I kind of like about this is it kind of came out in a nice like story way, is I do feel like what I'm really drawn to is the perception, learning from the past, and learning from past memories. Because like I was saying in this card here, this third eye chakra card, I kept getting that you're going to really see and understand from past situations. Like you're just going to get so much clarity on where some of this even came from and like why certain situations in the past were the way they were. So I think for you it would be like seeing like interactions with others in a new light, and seeing how there was never anything wrong with what you did or said. It was the other person's own stuff that was coming up. And I don't know why that's going to be really healing for this pile, but I think it will be. And that's even where I see like these are situations where you were really hurt, or where you like still have some, I want to say, heartbreak or heart guardedness around. And it doesn't have to be romantic. It honestly could be even within family members or friendships where the people just couldn't meet you where you wanted them to meet you. And they like created a wounding that you took on personally, when it was never about you. It was always about them and what they weren't comfortable offering, or I really feel like they weren't comfortable being in a heart-centered place. So I really feel like this is going to be where the healing happens, grieving what needs to be grieved, and releasing on a deeper level or layer this wounding that you had taken on from these other people just not being able to meet you in a heart-centered place. And then what I like with the photograph and the hands of cards, so this talks about having lots of options, feeling like there's a lot of things working out in your favor. And I also like this is saying making new memories. And I keep getting like, what's the word? Having things to look forward to. I don't know. Like, I feel like this whole month won't be so heavy. There'll be like some really big moments of release, but then there'll also be before the end of the next lunar cycle, or the end of this next 30 days, I think there will be some things where you're really starting to feel like there's lots of options out there for you, that the perspective shift changes what you feel is possible for you. So this feels like more optimism. This feels like more excitement. This feels like actually being like looking forward to the future and feeling like there's lots of different avenues for you. And it's like, it's perfect, right? Because I was saying how this is kind of talking about coming out of a pattern of scarcity. And this is talking about coming into a pattern of like abundance, where you're like, oh my gosh, there's so many things out there for me. There's so many things I can do, and so much available to me. Now I just need to decide what I want. So that's really exciting. That's super exciting. I feel like it's really going to be working through a block around not feeling enough or not feeling good enough, which is huge. That's huge, right? And that might be something where you've dealt with it in layers, but this is just like another layer coming up. Yeah, just another layer coming up. And yeah, I don't know. I think that might be all I have for you, pile one. I have talked a lot. So if you remember everything I said, good on you. You have a great memory. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave it here. So hopefully that has you looking forward to some things coming in, and knowing that this cycle won't keep continuing, because I think you are going to keep catching yourself more and more and more. And your perception of your own value, I think, is going to go up and up and up. And really realizing that there was nothing ever wrong with you. This was just other people not being able to meet you in your authentic, loving place. That's going to be huge. Okay. I hope you have a good one, my pile ones. If you enjoyed this reading, I do appreciate it if you leave a like or a comment, as it just helps this video get more views, which helps my channel. I do offer personal readings. There is a link attached in this video. If it's not there, that might mean that I'm not offering them distance anymore, but for now I am offering them over Zoom. And I think that's all I have to say to this pile. I hope you guys have a good one, and maybe I'll catch you around. Hello, pile 2. So you chose either the Dragon Eye or Septarian crystal, or the Fire Dragon card. And if you didn't see this, it says, burns up the lower energies around you. You're safe and protected. Be determined and inspired. Clear your soul pathway. So, themes for this pile. I always think of this kind of as like the Phoenix card, like absolute transformation, just clearing everything up. Knowing that you're safe and protected. So this always talks about working on your root chakra, your foundations, really just getting more solid and confident in yourself, like feeling like you can trust yourself, I think is a big one. And determined and inspired, clear your soul pathway. I feel like this is like burning, or I shouldn't say burning up. I would say I see this theme for you ahead as being able to see through your limiting beliefs and your fears and seeing the truth behind it. So, like, even when it says dragon eye, like maybe it's like even seeing yourself from a higher perspective, a clear perspective. And what does that mean? I would say seeing the truth of what's possible for you over what your fears have been telling you is possible for you. So, oof, this is exciting. It does usually mean that you've come out of a cycle of, I would say, stuckness. And I also want to feel like for this pile, like maybe being really hard on yourself and really thinking that like you're not doing enough or you're not wherever enough. Like I think enough would be the word you would input into whatever you've been saying to yourself. So like not making enough money, not doing enough creative projects, not having enough friends, not being loving enough, not being patient enough, not being whatever enough. And I think you're just kind of like, I'm tired of beating myself up. And I'm tired of letting the side of myself that is fearful and full of limiting beliefs and maybe even scarcity thinking ruling my life. I'm ready to change this. So I feel like this feels like a very conscious change. So maybe you've decided to implement new routines or habits in your life where you've been like, okay, I know that in the past, when I do this, this puts me in this mindset and I don't want to go there. So the first thing I do when I wake up is this new habit that changes how I am feeling or how I'm thinking about myself. I'm going to do the very first thing I hear in the morning is a positive song that makes me feel uplifted. Like I don't quite know what it is, but I feel like this is very intentional work that you've been doing. I think you've already started it. And I think you're going to really reap the rewards over the next 30 days or the next lunar cycle about reap the rewards of all this like new changes in routine. I really, really think so. So I'm going to read the message from the guidebook for this card as it is the theme for you for this next little bit. So it says, about this card, a fourth dimensional fire dragon radiates a bright orange fiery light. They are powerful beings who give us power, trust, and determination when we work with them. They are the master clearance, sorry, I think that's a typo, the master clearing experts and will direct their blazing flames at anything we ask them to, transmuting lower vibrations that no longer serve us. They will fly in front of us when we travel, often burning up challenges before we reach them. They also are extremely protective of their companions. Those who work with them, they will light up our friends and roar at those who undermine us. Okay, so literally a dragon, a super protection. This actually also makes me think of like the runner angel mentality. So the theory of asking runner angels, or like they're just angels who go ahead and clear the path for us so that if we're running late, we don't come across any animals on the road or have any police officers that are ticketing people or a train doesn't drive by. It's really like talking about clearing any challenges or nuisances out of our way. Driving is just like an easy one because most of us have to drive somewhere and often we can feel like everyone's moving too slowly. Yeah. Also could be in any way, but driving's just the example I was thinking of. And there was something else that stood out here. I really stood out to me when I was reading for this pile about having like you getting somewhere and hearing how maybe there was a huge roadblock, but you totally missed it. Like you missed it by like 5 minutes. So like when you got there, it had already cleared up, or you made it through a section on the road before it happened. And people were like, "What? How did you avoid that? That cost me hours." And you're just like, "I don't know," but it just feels like that's like the kind of luck you're going to be finding. Just you know what? Let me reword this. I almost feel like this is like you really stepping into like working with your guides and angels and manifestation power and your own power to not face challenges in the same way that you have been. So it's almost like knowing that you are powerful enough to change the reality that you're living in. So if you've had a scarcity mindset or felt like, oh, I won't get a parking spot, or I won't, like, it's almost like realizing how where you've like set, like if you don't think something's possible, then it can't happen for you. Like it literally can't happen. You can't see it even if it is happening. But what is that thing where there's an English expression where they say something like the first step is believing you can? I think that's something like that. And I feel like you're like going the step past that. You're like, I know what I believe is possible and can happen will happen for me because I am empowered and I am protected. And there is a team of maybe dragons, angels, guides that are working for me. Like, it's just like trying to work with that energy more. And I think you are. Like, I feel like there's some like badass energy coming off this card. Like, really being like, I am empowered in my environment, and what I believe is going to happen is what will happen. Like, you're definitely very strongly manifesting things. That's also what I get for this pile. So I think, sorry, this cough, it is coming up again. It's been a while. But anyways, clearing the throat, clearing maybe it's just, I don't know. I'm like rambling weirdly a lot in this pile. I was not doing that in the last one. So I don't know what's going on there, but maybe you're clearing your throat chakra a bit and getting out the nervous energy, and you're getting into more of empowered communication, like even maybe with the outside world, in your own mind. Maybe you're like, things will work out for me. I am a magnet of love. I know I'm a magnet of abundance. I know I'm a magnet of prosperity. Whatever you're working towards, I feel like you're just really like reprogramming some things that you've said. Okay, so let's pull some cards about advice that you need to hear to help you go through this like time with the most ease. So we're just gonna ask, what guidance or suggestions for pile 2? What guidance or suggestions for pile 2? Look at that. Oof, goddess card. This is all about manifestation power and like being in control. I also want that. If you guys watch a lot of tarot card readings, or if you do tarot yourself, I would see this goddess card as sort of like the Empress card, or like the Queen of Cup card. Like just someone who's like really, they know what they're worth, they know what they want, and like, I can't say it enough. You are so done with the blocks, the roadblocks, the mental blocks, the fears, wherever they've been or whatever they've gotten you. You're just done with that. You're like really realizing that you are your greatest challenge. What you believe is possible for you is the only thing that defines what is possible for you. So you are really stepping into some empowerment, like visualizing success, goddess, sacral chakra, emotional. Yeah, holy shit. You guys are just basically a little powerhouse right now. So your new routines, I think, have like been centered around manifestation, perception changes. I really do feel like in the morning when you first start, you're like reminding yourself that everything is happening for you. I could even see this pile, for example. I don't know. I don't want to quite say this because I feel like you already have your routine figured out around visualizing or feeling what you want to bring into your life. And I feel like it's like for the day, also for the close future. So by the end of the month or within the next year, I feel like it's so powerful right now. Like honestly, whatever you're trying to manifest right now will happen. It will happen. That's how I see it. I'm just gonna ask. Okay, emotional sensitivity. I was just like clarifying card for this. I also like the fairy card coming through. It says you have a strong bond with the fairies and your life purpose involves helping Mother Nature. The dragons are all about environmentalism and like protecting the earth and blessing the land and clearing the land around you. So when we see the fairy cards, they are kind of a double meaning. They usually talk about having more fun, being more in joy, and sacral chakra is all about sort of that joy center, that creation center, that pleasure center. The goddess card is all about pleasure, creation, enjoyment, doing things just to experience them out of pleasure and joy, bliss, like just being more in bliss. 3 cards about that. So I really feel like that is what you're trying to bring more into. And that is actually the opposite of scarcity mindset. So I really feel like you're doing like a 180. I want to say more than that. Like, I want to say like you're doing like a 360 because it's like it's the opposite, but you've gone even past like the opposite energy and you're going really strong at this next energy. So I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of really great things coming your way. Also for some reason I'm thinking of blueberries. I don't know why someone eating blueberries right now. I don't know. Sometimes it could be like there's a spiritual meaning behind a fruit that you can work with. Maybe blueberries for this pile right now. I don't know. I'm getting really distracted. So maybe also a little reminder to stay grounded, because although there's a lot of exciting things happening right now for you, being grounded is really key for manifestation. Because if you're not embodied, then it's really hard to like fully root in those things. So the open crown and a grounded root chakra are quite key for manifestation success. Yeah, it's sort of just like staying like your magnet to the earth needs to be needed to be attached to the earth for you to get the blessings. Yeah. Okay. I'm really excited for this pile. It feels so empowering. Like it's just the radiating empowerment. That's super awesome. Do you want to talk a little bit about the emotional sensitivity card? It says, honor and respect your deep sensitivities as it is a gift to us all. And you're a powerful light worker. So this usually comes in to remind you that ignoring those lower feelings that sometimes you can feel doesn't serve you. Be like I almost feel like be a counselor to yourself through those emotions. So because you've got a lot going on for you, a lot of positive energy coming through. But if you have moments where some of those fears come up, don't get frustrated with self. Just be that loving, supporting, compassionate, I don't know, space holder for that part of yourself, because I feel like this is what I get, like you holding that heart space and that love and acceptance and compassion. So this is very feminine energy, embodying the feminine energy towards this aspect of yourself, the fear or the scarcity mindset that might come up, makes it feel very safe and supported. And that's even just enough to clear it up. I feel like to let go of the fear, because it's almost like it gets seen and heard as it needs to be, that you can just keep going back into this powerful manifestation energy, which is really awesome. Also, just love how peaceful this card does look. This person who feels loved and supported, has all their needs met, and fear dissipates and goes away naturally. Not because it was neglected or avoided. It just naturally dissipates because it was seen and heard as it needed to be. It was honored as it needed to be. The workshops and seminars, let me just double check what's going on here. Third eye chakra, clarify these cards, heal away addictions. Okay, that's interesting. These cards did come up in pile 1, so I'm not sure if you watched both piles or, I mean, there is different energy here, but just something I want to point out. Interesting. Let's do one more. Workshop owners. Indigo. Okay. Yeah. So I actually feel like this is talking about you might take advantage from maybe listening to some empowering podcasts or reading some books around, or even taking a class. You can take a class, but I don't actually get a physical class so much for this pile as I do like reading a book or hearing a podcast or hearing an audible book or something like that, where it's just reminding you of these perspective changes that you've had. So it's like, it just feels like it's how you can support yourself and remembering you're empowered. You are in control. What you determined as possible for you is what you will get. So if there is like a podcast that really like motivates you or inspires you, I would take time to listen to it just to keep up this energy. So if you're starting to feel blue or like down or like, you know, like other people are like speaking about their fears and their limits, I feel like this might be a sign for you to, one, you can hold space for yourself and honor that, but then bring yourself back up by listening to these like podcasters who have the same mentality as you, who are like, yes, I did this and that was my secret to success, or I believe in a world where this is true. And it just really helps you stay strong in what you believe. Because the other card that I pulled was Indigo Child, which usually tells me that you're very sensitive to the other people's emotions around you. You're just like a very open person, which just means that sometimes other people's limiting beliefs and like lows can sometimes bring you down a little bit. You can forget that you are this beautiful, empowered, creative goddess, empress, creative soul who can succeed at whatever they set their mind to. So it just is like everyone needs a little reminder from here and now, there and now, here and now. Okay, sorry about that. My camera battery just needed to be changed. Toby did decide to join us here. There he is. Hey, Tobes. Yeah, okay, so that being said, I kind of feel like I've said probably enough about this portion. And there goes Toby. Let's talk about your. Sorry, just move the deck of cards I had there out of the way. Let's talk about a little check-in on what your relationship or your connections will look like over this next time. Ooh, I'm kind of curious to see what comes up for this file. Okay, so what's coming? That's too many. It's like 10 cards. Let's see. I definitely think there's a reminder to stay grounded for this pile. Definitely. So it could be through breathing, just closing your eyes, taking a couple of deep breaths, feeling more rooted, more grounded. Just so that you stay like more clear in your mind. I would say that's also the biggest part, because if our mind is going kind of rampant, you usually just need to slow things down. And the best way to do that is literally to physically change your state by breathing, slowing down, thinking more clearly, hearing everything that's going on in our system at once. I really feel like sometimes in the spiritual world, we can downplay the importance of being rooted. We always upplay the importance of an open crown chakra, but being rooted is everything. It is everything. So that's what I have learned in my journey. For just even feeling safe, secure, like bringing things into our lives, for peace of mind. Like, I feel like fear comes from not being grounded, which is weird to think of, but think of a tree. And once again, I'm sorry if you've heard me say this on the channel before, but a tree with roots in the earth, it won't get knocked over by a breeze or by even a strong wind. It's so strong in itself. But a tree that only has a root in the ground because it didn't want to be rooted, like a lot of people, all of a sudden a breeze comes by and it can knock it over. So that's how I see fears. Fears can really get in there when we're not rooted, and panic and anxiety. But when we're rooted in ourselves, we remember how strong we are. We remember who we are. We're confident. We're stable in ourselves. We're literally our own support system. So if we can just pause, slow down, breathe, remember who we are, we'll be good. So, okay, that being said, you know what? Sorry, the other thing that just came to my mind, if you even find yourself talking really fast all of a sudden, that might be a sign that you're feeling a little anxious, you're feeling a little ungrounded, and you just need to breathe so you can slow everything down. And I know it can be frustrating to slow down when you're feeling anxiety. That's why the breathwork part is really important. It literally does help us slow down and regulate ourselves. And that also being said, if you talk to people who are speaking very quickly and panicked, you can help them calm down by slowing down yourself, because we will mimic the people we're talking to. So if you breathe, slow down, remember it's okay to pause, that can actually help everyone feel more regulated in the situation. Anyways, let's actually pull your cards. Apparently you want this one. Okay, that's actually very appropriate for what we were just talking about. What is coming pile two's way in their connections? Okay, well, just one more, I think. There we go. So, addiction. Why I like this? It talks about obsession, possession, controlling, has a block, restraint, codependency. When I was talking about feeling really anxious and ungrounded, I often think about people who can be codependent or anxious attachment styles, obsessing. So I find if we find ourselves circulating around a topic or a situation, so maybe you keep re explaining something that happened in your own head again and again and again, and you find yourself spiraling on it. I think this is something you're going to let go of. Like you're unchaining yourself to, I want to say, obsessive energy. And I can tell that some people won't quite correlate that with what they're doing. I think some people would say anxiety or worry, but it is like obsessive thoughts. And I do feel like it's catching yourself in those patterns, breathing and being like, okay, I'm spiraling right now, or I'm stuck on this. I keep telling myself the same story again and again, which is a definition of insanity, is just to keep going in circles again and again. What can I do right now to change this? And that's where like that parenting energy could come in. So I actually think this is more towards yourself and situations and relationships where you might overthink them and really get stuck on them. So learning to release that is what's coming your way. And then we have looking at your photos, missing you, nostalgia, make new memories. We have clarity, truth, revelation, force, humor, protection, power. Love, more power cards coming in for you. Girl with the snake, being charmed or used, enabled, boundaries. Okay, so I actually feel like for this pile, you don't have to be single, but I feel like the majority are likely single. Only because this is to have like this amount of change, usually it happens at the end of something. So after we've been in a time of reflection, after an ending of a relationship of some sort. So it doesn't have to be romantic, but those ones are usually the best mirrors for us or the clearest mirrors for us. It also could have been like the ending of like a close friendship, or maybe you had a really weird fallout with someone at work or a boss or something like that. And I feel like something happened to a point where it made you realize some patterns. And a lot of it is all rooted in this sort of anxious attachment style of trying to always say the right thing, trying like constantly circulating on what you could have done differently or should have said differently, and really feel like you're realizing slowing down is the answer. I really feel like just slowing down, breathing, like it sounds weird to say relaxing into it, but like relaxing to the conversation instead of trying to formulate what you're going to say before the person is finished speaking, or trying to like plan out the best answer, just really slowing down. Yeah, big message for this pile. When I see this looking at photos, I do feel like this is talking about looking at the past and seeing it with clarity and sort of facing where you do have this pattern, if this is resonating. So, like, if you have caught yourself being like, yeah, after I talk to people, I do go over the whole thing in my head and I think about all things I did wrong and what I should have said. And it's like, it's not coming from a loving place. It's more from like a place of being like, how can I control the situation next time so that I don't say anything wrong and everything goes perfectly? It's just not quite realistic. And this is talking about seeing like the truth of maybe why this has happened, and this is protection of power. So you feel like it will, you're going to really realize how it might have made you feel safer to have this habit, or it might have been like I don't know if I want to say survival tactic, but just like a coping mechanism um to do this. And somehow when we realize that and we really see and remember the memory of where we all started that, or it really hits us, we embody that like memory or that moment where we started doing this, that is what frees us. So when I see empath, being charmed, used, enabled, or boundaries, do you feel like this is like a past wounding where you really see why you started doing it? How that was like the best way you could set boundaries and protect yourself when you were younger. So it often means that we were in a relationship where we weren't allowed to advocate for ourselves, or we weren't allowed to say no. And it honestly could even just be childhood, right? Like we have to do what our parents say. We just have to when we're a certain age. They are the ones taking care of us, and we have to survive. So I do feel like this is going to be realizing that this was a coping mechanism or a way to basically counteract the fact that you couldn't walk away and you couldn't say no and you couldn't set boundaries for yourself at that age. You had to basically control the situation in the only way you knew how to, by overthinking it, by overanalyzing things, by predicting what you thought was going to happen. And now that you are older and you are an empowered person and you know that you can protect yourself and stand up for yourself, that you can see that you can just say no. That's, I think, the big lesson is you can just say no to things that don't feel good or feel aligned with you. And that is enough. There doesn't need to be an explanation about why there's a no. It can just be no. Yeah. Anyways, this is what's coming in for the next month. So that's pretty exciting. Yeah, I'm just seeing working on it and rebuilding also coming up. So it's like, don't worry if you're not going to get this perfect in the next month. You're working on it, and that's progress. That is so much progress, and that means things will just get better and better. And you'll create new habits and new routines and new patterns that that are more appropriate for, I don't know, for the lifestyle that you're living. I don't know if that quite makes sense. It's almost like that are more like valid for the life you're in. I don't know. Like, I feel like this is just like such old patterns. Like in those situations as a kid, you had no choice, but now as an adult, you can say no. It feels like you'll create new habits that honor your actual circumstances. You don't need these old ways. Yeah. Okay. I think this is all I have for you, Pile Twos. Hopefully this brought some clarity or some insights to what's coming ahead. If you enjoyed this reading, I so appreciate it if you leave a like or a comment, as it just helps my channel get more views. I do offer Zoom personal readings. I don't know what I was saying there. If I am offering them still, there will be a link in the description box below. And if it's not there, it might just be that I am not offering it anymore whenever you're seeing this video. So that being said, I hope you have a good one, and I'll catch you around. Hello, Pile 3. I was just thinking about how my cats have been really good about not being in the reading today, but they're making up for it now, aren't they? Okay. Oh, they're kissing each other. That's cute, at least. Oh, and the butt. Okay, well, anyways, if you chose this pile, you chose... Maybe. Can you move? Thank you. Yeah. You chose either the Aura Clear Quartz, or if you didn't see it, there's also this card here called Air and Fire Dragon, and the themes for you for the next lunar cycle or the next 30 days is harnessing your creativity, excitement, enthusiasm, and communicating your passion. So this is really exciting. I kind of, after just doing pile 2, would wonder if some of you were drawn to that pile, but then decided this one felt more aligned, only because it has some similar themes around bringing in more joy and creativity and really taking back your power. I also feel like there's just so much fire energy, as there's literally a volcano exploding in this pile. In this card that you picked. So I am just going to read from the guidebook the themes of this card, since it is the card you chose. Okay, so we have shimmering shimmering. Fourth dimensional blue and orange air and fire dragons are very vocal. They love to express themselves and make their presence known. They often create turbulence as they swirl around us. Air mixes with fire to ignite an explosion of creativity, enthusiasm, and aliveness. These dragons make us feel happy, excited, and sometimes a little unsettled or even overwhelmed. At the same time, the element of fire transmutes lower energies and clears the path of our destiny, while air enables us to communicate our passion at a soul level. Wow, I like that it says an explosion of enthusiasm and aliveness. So if you've been feeling a lack of joy or excitement in your life, it kind of seems like that's changing drastically. So that's okay. Sorry, remove the cats. Let's pull some cards for you, pile threes, on guidance and suggestions on how to support this energy change for you in the most gentle and just highest vibrational way. We just really want things to be as smooth as possible for you. So here we go. How can pile three guidance and suggestions? Third eye. Throat chakra. Okay, the third eye card has come up in every pile. So this is definitely a thing for this phase or this energy cycle that we're all going through right now. Release. And your chakras. And definitely communication as well. Pile 3 has come up in all the piles as well. So don't feel like this is something you're just going through. It seems like right now there's a really big thing around shifting our perspective and our communication. I'm definitely just getting a reiteration around not hearing people clearly. So honestly, pile 3, you have like a combination of pile 1 and pile 2. It's like, I can see why some people would choose pile 1, some people would choose pile 2, and then pile 3, it's like you kind of have like a mixture of both those lessons coming up in this pile. So I want to start with the releasing thing. Law of attraction, clear yourself. I just feel like there's so much going on here saying how you are releasing I think how little you used to see you. It's weird. I'm just so drawn to the little bird in her hands. And I just feel like you are getting past how you used to, I want to say bully yourself, or like your limiting beliefs bullied a part of yourself. So instead of letting that, say, voice bully you, I feel like instead you disarmed it and you're like, ready to move forward with it. You're not fighting it anymore. Oh my gosh, it's so what that is. Sorry, I just realized my camera is like way out of frame. One moment, please. That's better. There you go. And I feel like you're moving forward with it. It's that whole honoring piece of honoring all aspects of ourselves and not shutting parts of ourselves down because we don't like what they're saying or we're ashamed of what that part is saying to us or about us, or we feel guilt or shame around how it's making us feel. Instead of avoiding addressing it or pushing it away, neglecting it, whatever kind of word choice you like, it's like taking hold of it and being all right, I'm going to hold space for you to have your feelings about us, and we're going to move forward together because I know I can't get rid of you. You're not something that needs to get rid of. We are just, you're just a part of me that represents the shame or the guilt that I have around a certain subject. So I really do feel like moving forward with it, not neglecting or avoiding it. And by doing that with that part of yourself that you haven't been previously wanting to look at, this is where I feel like this explosion happens of like just all these blessings coming in, all this possibility, all these new perspectives, this new excitement, enthusiasm, this new just passion in your life, because it actually was quite draining for you, I think, to ignore ignore what this part of you is trying to say. And moving forward, it just changes everything. We have ear chakras, throat chakra, third eye chakra. Whenever I see ear chakras and throat chakra come up together, for me, it's telling me like a complete change in how you're communicating with others and with yourself. So like you're going to hear people differently, and you're also going to be able to communicate more clearly. So the ear chakras usually come up when we can be taking things personally. So like when someone is like uncomfortable about something themselves and they kind of say a comment that's a reflection of the discomfort around that topic that they're experiencing, we can perceive it as them not accepting us or them putting a judgment on us. But it's like it literally has nothing to do with us. They're in their own heads and their own worlds about what's going on, and we're just seeing a bit of a window in. But if we don't see it that way because it like plays off of a fear we have, or something we're shameful of, or something we tell ourselves all the time that's a limiting belief, then we take it personally and think they're just like talking about us, but it actually has nothing to do with us. So I just feel like you're just going to have quite a different view and perspective in these communications with others. I think even the communication with yourself, like I actually also see the ear chakra card saying like you're just going to be a lot gentler with yourself. So your own thoughts in your head are going to be, I think, more supportive. More nurturing is a word I see a lot for this pile, nurturing, and more positive. And I even am drawn to the fact that this person has a hand on her like stomach area. That's where I usually say her inner child is. So I feel like instead of like, yeah, avoiding or neglecting these like voices within yourself, you're going to start hearing it more. And then, yeah, fairies is all about finding more play, like the playful side of our inner child, which I think you're going to be connecting more with, especially when you decide to work with it. Instead of seeing it just as all the things that have the limiting beliefs, I think you might start seeing your inner child more for the aspects of fun, play, joy, doing things just for the fun of it, just because you feel like it. So it's really tuning in or tapping into that positive energy that our inner child offers us. So that's really awesome. What else do we got going on here? Law of attraction. I love seeing this too because I just feel like with this card, it talks about enthusiasm, creation, being kind of like a manifestation. Being in a time where manifestations are coming in easily, especially with like the imagery here of like the fire coming from the ground and exploding up into the world, and this dragon's catching it. So I just feel like you're like literally going to be almost instantly getting the rewards of manifestations. Like maybe you go, hey, I really need a new shirt for work. I don't know. That's like the most boring answer or example I could think of. Then all of a sudden you get like a free shirt or a shirt comes in at a price you can afford or something like that, or like I really need this to work out, and then bam, it's working out. Like the next day, the next little bit, it finds its way to you in an unexpected way. Because I really feel like this is you releasing control on the how, just saying, hey, this is what I need. Know the universe is going to provide for me, and it does. So I love that. Clear yourself. This is just reminding you to, it says like release any toxic energies that you may have absorbed. Just keep maybe a regular habit of like clearing any energies that do not belong to you, letting go of any limiting beliefs that don't belong to you. So this could just be a reminder that if you work in an environment where there's lots of people that come in, if you work in a restaurant, customer service, a hospital, there is a lot of other people's energies there, and usually they can be lower vibrational energies. And if you're just not wanting to be in that like lower state, maybe you've been there for a while now and you're ready to really get into this joy, just remember to keep clearing yourself, because a lot of the times it's probably not even your energy, it's somebody else's that you're just like accidentally picking up on. So I would say energy shielding would be really important for this pile, doing it every day, doing some ho'oponoponoing for cord cutting, clearing energies that you might have picked up, and just like stating that nothing that is not yours can attach itself to you, and just kind of setting a really strong intention for your day, I think is going to be really important for this pile. Whatever you want that intention to be. that you experience bliss every day, that only love and light are attracted to you, you know? Something like that. Listening to your intuitive feelings. What am I getting from this? Your body's receiving accurate messages from the divine. I feel like this is talking about a heart opening. I don't really know why I want to say that, but I'm getting that. I'm really drawn to the fact that I think that actually makes more sense. I think that you're opening your heart more and more to receiving blessings, to receiving good. So a heart opening does also mean like allowing in more love, but when we allow in more love, we allow to receive more. And I think that's where all this powerful manifestation stuff is going to be coming in, because you're, for some reason, now just realizing you deserve it all. So it's better late than never, and it's awesome that you're asking for it now. This does seem like a really miraculous time for this pile. I mean, when I saw this as a starter card, or the card that you're going through, I was like, this pile's got it. They got a lot of great things coming in. This is so awesome for them. Magic, blessings. I mean, Angel Aura Quartz does just make me feel like you're just surrounded by blessings and miracles and divinely orchestrated things that you can't quite explain. Okay. I kind of feel like this might be all I have to say about this for this pile. Seemed kind of quick, but at the same time, I feel like you all might have watched the other piles. I don't know. You don't have to, because they are like, you feel like you're past that energy, but maybe the last two piles were like a mix of things you had gone through over the last couple of months, and now you're in this energy. I don't know. Anyways, so I'm going to pull some cards now for a little check-in on your connections and what to expect over the next little bit. And yeah, this could be with yourself. It can just be connections in general. So what is pile 3 to expect in the upcoming lunar cycle? Ooh, I like this. Okay. Oh my goodness. You guys are going through some stuff. Okay. So Axe is separation, stop the pattern, silent treatment, abandonment. So I like this. The first card that comes out is stopping a pattern that has not served you. And then I kind of look at this to be like, what is the pattern? You are no longer believing that you're not good enough. What we're saying, that heart opening, that realizing that you are worthy of beautiful things, that you want to be accepting of things, that you want good things to happen to you. You're also letting go of, let's see, I would say with the Grim Reaper, with a past connection or past people, or I kind of even think like a type of person that was not serving you. So if you had, I mean, this one here says the chaser, codependent relationships, fear of abandonment. If you had a habit of being with people who were emotionally unavailable or emotionally avoidant, I actually feel more of unavailable for this pile. I mean, I feel like you might have been with people who could be stable until they felt some sort of emotion, and I think they like ran away. And I feel like you're just like, I'm done with that. I deserve better. I see things clearer now. I don't want to keep this pattern going. It's exhausting, and I don't feel like I want to keep it going. The other thing I want to say too with this Grim Reaper card is I feel like there might even have been like an ex relationship. I don't know. I don't want to quite say an ex-romantic person. It could even be like a best friend that you had a falling out with, that you just like are really going to come to terms with why that wasn't actually a healthy relationship for you. Whether it was that person was constantly not there when you needed them to be, they constantly were letting you down. Maybe even the way that they like ended the communication with you was like really incompassionate, no accountability or something. I'm not totally sure, but I just feel like there's going to be a full circle moment where you're no longer going like, why did that end? I have so many questions to ask about it. You're like, no, like that actually was never a great relationship for me. And I see that now. I deserve better than what they could give me. And like here it says one-sided relationships. I think you're done with one-sided relationships where they only show up for a little bit. They dump a lot of attention at you. And then they go, oh, by the way, I actually need your support with this, or I want you for this. And I love that. I love that it says you're done with that. You're having a breakup with this cycle of attracting in this type of person. This is really awesome. This alone, my friends, is worth celebrating. This is awesome, 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 awesome. I keep saying awesome. I hope you're excited about it. I feel like this is just even what's probably helping with the different communication that's happening and like your ability to see clearly what was going on. And like we said with the release card too, like I do feel like this is part of that release of you really realizing that anyone who has this energy isn't really worth being in your life, isn't really worth your energy. Period. Awesome. I love that. Look at that. I also just pulled one more and it says clarity, truth, revelation, protection, power, force, and honor. Yeah, I really feel like you're going to learn how to honor yourself, honor your own time, get rid of sort of the addictive feeling. Like I feel like you might be identifying like the addiction of like that highs and lows of when you finally get that person's attention and it's like feels so great, but then it always is followed by I think more lows than there is highs. And it always feels like you're not doing enough or like, yeah, it just doesn't feel good at the end of the day. So I really feel like you're seeing that and you're cutting cords with it and you're cutting off that habit. You're releasing it. So this is so awesome. This is why I love that this like dragon's coming in. It's like now that you know what you're worthy of and deserving of, there's so many blessings coming your way. It's like hot potatoes. You're like, oh my gosh, how can I can't catch them all. So I actually am going to use my discernment to find the ones that are the most aligned with me because there's so many opportunities coming to me. That's super awesome. Pile threes. Super awesome. I wonder if there's anything else to say to this pile. I don't really know. Oh, look at that. Okay, I did just look. I was just like pulling a couple more. Okay, so we have Cupid's arrow and ascending. So it says transiting obstacles, learning, expansion, new phase, preparing for union, and have faith, love is coming, surprise and invitation or meeting hesitation. I love this. It almost is like saying if someone was just like, well, does that mean I'm gonna have like a better connection coming in or a better romantic relationship coming in? I feel like this is your little answer here is yes. You are literally like I love seeing like some other oracle cards literally have a girl holding a balloon flying into like a different place. I love that because to me it's like literally changing cycles. You're getting out of the routine or like the place you've been stuck and you're going somewhere new. That's so exciting. And then with the little arrow card saying like love is coming, have faith. Like love is coming, have faith, period. That's it literally says period. That's it. You just need to know it is coming. Yeah. I love that. I also like that it says it's happening in a surprising way. So it usually means you can think about it all you want, but you won't be able to actually guess how it's coming together, which is the beauty of life and also a bit of the frustration sometimes. But okay, that's all I have for you, pile threes. I'm so excited for you. You got some great things coming. So many manifestations coming in. Blessings are going to be, like I said, all over the place. So just remember to only choose the ones that are most aligned with you because there's so many. You can use your discernment on which ones you actually want to go for. Okay, so that being said, thank you so much for watching this reading. And if you enjoyed it, I always appreciate it if you leave a like or a comment as it helps this video get more views. And I am offering personal readings over Zoom. The link will be in the description box below. If it's not there whenever you're seeing this, it could just be that I'm not offering them over distance anymore. Yeah. Okay. Well, I hope you guys have a good one and maybe I'll catch you around.